Welcome to Hot Topics on the Edge of Show. I'm Josh Krieger with my co-host January Jones and our guest today, Javier Arroyo from Internet Computer. Thanks for joining us, Javi.
Thank you so much for having me.
Just for some background, folks, he's the co-founder of the Internet Computer Hub Canada and US and a partner at Quantum Leap Labs and ICP Accelerator, which we'll talk about a little bit more. And it's great to have you on the show.
And today we are taking it up north and going all Canadian with our hot topics. We'll talk about the prime minister election and the crypto stance in Canada, the overall crypto climate there, Canada Crypto Week, and Javi will catch us up on news from ICP.
This is another production of the Edge of Company, a rapidly growing media ecosystem empowering the pioneers of Web3, technology, culture, and innovation.
Well, starting this off, the new Canadian Prime Minister and crypto skeptic, Mark Carney, has called for a snap election that will see him face off against the Conservative Party. But that party is touting itself as the crypto-friendly party, promoting Bitcoin and opposing central bank digital currencies. Recent polls seem to show that the Liberals are leading with their more cautious approach on crypto. The election is coming up on April 28th. We saw in the United States that this was a deciding factor in a lot of ways on the way the vote goes. Javi, what do you think about the influence of crypto on this election? Is it really registering with voters in Canada, or is it kind of a non-issue?
Yeah, thank you. I think it's a really good question. People are so excited about these elections. In my opinion, the upcoming election could be a turning point for Canada's approach to cryptocurrency. We have two sides, Pierre Poilievre from the conservative side and then Mark Carney from the liberals. It's totally different approach. Pierre Poilievre, the conservative leader, really seems to be embracing the potential of crypto. He's against central bank digital currencies, and also he wants to use blockchain technology to give people more control over the finance and help combat inflation, for example. And I personally think that sounds promising because it offers more freedom and decentralization. But also at the same time, I do worry that without the right balance of regulation, things could get unstable as well, and that could scare people away. And then on the other hand, we have Mark Carney, the liberal leader, is much more cautious about crypto. His background is in banking, makes him focus, of course, in a lot of more stability and oversight, what is totally understandable. It's important for sure to keep the system secure, but I feel this cautious approach maybe might hold back some innovation as well, what we are seeing in other countries. And we need to be careful not to fall behind in the global crypto scene here in Canada. Right now, Canada has some pretty strict regulations, like the treating, for example, stable coins as a securities, and some people feel that this could hurt the growth of in the sector. But also, these rules are meant to protect investors. I think, in my opinion, Canada might miss on some opportunities. It doesn't make the space a little bit more flexible. And then, yeah, personally, I think we need a bit of both safety and innovation, and align the government and policies and rules also with the entrepreneurs, founders, and in general, the crypto innovators.
Yeah. I think moderation is key here, and I think we've seen historically regulations swing both sides, right? And of course, there's been some challenges in our industry that are valid for why there is caution. I think we have to acknowledge those challenges and address them, but allow for more enterprise adoption of this technology and more mainstream usage in the right way. I'm hopeful that Canada joins the US in opening some new doors to crypto innovation. And I love Canada. I'm there as often as I can throughout the year. Having that freedom to innovate across North America would be pretty awesome. What are your thoughts on the tax side of the house? I'm not too familiar with how crypto taxes work in Canada.
Yeah, for the Canada, it depends, of course, how you use crypto. In Canada, of course, crypto is treated as a commodity, not as a currency. So taxes kick in when you sell, trade, or cash out, or use to buy something. In terms of like the percentages in capital gain, in Canada is only taxed the 50% of the gain, right? For example, imagine you bought like Bitcoin at 10,000 and then sold it at 30,000. You only pay for the half of 20,000. It means $10,000, right? And then you have to add this as a regular income for the year. This is in the terms of capital gain. And then if you are actively trading as a crypto business, your earnings might be considered business income. And then that gets taxed at your full income tax rate, which can go from around 20 to over 50%, depending, of course, of the province and in your total income. But in general, I think Canada has good regulation. It's pretty clear, the regulation, compared with other countries that maybe has like more in the gray area. We have the Canada Securities Administrators and FinTrack. This is good, of course, but there are as well a double-edged sword when it comes to crypto, right? Because, okay, you have the rule book up front, everything is pretty clear compared with other countries, but then it's like high bar for compliance, right? For example, if you are a small business or startup, is difficult to manage, right? And then the requirements is huge in general, right? From custody, KYC, reporting. That's something like, of course, we need to take in consideration that there are like two different sides. Everything is pretty clear, and we have the rule book up front, but then this kind of high bar for compliance is only can affect businesses and projects that start in the ecosystem.
Yeah, that makes sense. I think we've seen with the tariff news and how that's impacted the markets that there's definitely this desire among, the world's sort of previous, like, I guess, the world allies like Canada, the US, Europe, the US, to figure out ways to work together. So I'm curious, as the US adopts new policies in these different areas, how it's going to impact Canada. I guess time will tell. What's next, January?
Well, we might hear about that coming up for Canada Crypto Week. We will have a chance to learn more about that. There's a lot of speakers and events coming up May 11th to the 17th. Within the week, there's going to be the Blockchain Futurist Conference. It's featuring ETH Toronto and also an ETH Women Convergence. There's AI events, some Bitcoin ones, and then, of course, CoinDesk Consensus is happening the last 3 days of the week. Lots of really dynamic speakers listed if you check out what they have planned. And I'm sure there'll be some big announcements for companies, like there always is during these weeks. I've never been. I'm looking forward to going. Javi, tell us more from your perspective how important Canada Crypto Week is and what's been your experience.
Yeah, Canada Crypto Week, for all the Canadians that love crypto, blockchain, and new technologies, is the biggest week of the year in the country. Is celebrating in Toronto for like long time ago. I think more than 10 years now, or even 15 years. I don't know exactly, but long time ago. Now this year is even special because Consensus from CoinDesk, that normally is celebrating in United States, is coming to the city, to Toronto. And it's a good news. Of course, we have a Blockchain Futurist Conference that is making this conference like 2-3 days, again, almost like 10-15 years ago. And then for us, yeah, Canada they have something special, right? Of course, there are many crypto events popping up everywhere, but in general, the vibe here is really welcoming. In general, in Canada, people are eager to collaborate and share ideas. Also, Canada's tech scene is booming, especially in cities like Toronto or Vancouver, Montreal. It's a kind of perfect mix of innovation, in my opinion, government support, and great environment. Canada is also super diverse, so you get different perspectives, opinions, fresh ideas that make these events feel more inclusive. It's a fun place. Toronto, for sure, is a great city, the biggest city in Canada. And then, yeah, it's like a more balanced city in terms of crypto regulation compared with other countries. People feel safety here. They think they can grow. Also, the VC side and investors is growing as well in Canada. Of course, we have the tech, we have the developers, and in general, the entrepreneur sector in Canada in tech, specifically in AI, blockchain, and all these new technologies are growing up a lot. And I think, yeah, it's the best timing to do it. Let's see, but super excited. We are planning a lot of different side events, also collaborating with Blockchain Futurist Conference and Consensus. But yeah, we are looking forward to be there.
Yeah, it should be fun. I'm excited to come over the border, and it's been about 5 years since I've been to Toronto, and I recall it having a great restaurant scene. Like some of the best restaurants I've been to in Canada were in Toronto. You know, definitely gonna get some good food while I'm over there. In a former life, one of my buddies had a poutine food truck, so very familiar with that craze, but there's also some good healthy food options over in Toronto, or some great
That's
seafood.
true.
So it'll be good times, and excited to see what's going on the ground and how things are shaking out with that community. Going to be a lot of interesting energy with the combination of where we're at, sort of the broader macro climate, with sort of the general optimism around the crypto market that seems sort of trapped under a rock right now, but we'll get out of that rock soon. And
Yeah, and it seems like there are a lot of different events at the same time, right? Because we have also Paris Blockchain Week, Token in Dubai, Token 2049, and then as well Consensus here in Canada. It's like if you are not in crypto, it's like it's your fault because it's everywhere, right? And maybe the timing is not the best. I mean, it's demanding if you want to be everywhere, but definitely this is something like you know makes a difference and also take the attention globally in Canada. And I think we need it, to be honest. We are suffering a little bit for the last couple of years in general in terms of of regulation and in terms of support in general from the government and from other countries. But the talent is there. Canada, we have a huge ecosystem in general, huge talent. There are a lot of different universities, like top. If you check, the top 20 universities, the majority are in Canada and United States. And yeah, we need to take advantage about this. We are doing a lot of different initiatives like hackathons and courses. But in general, the entrepreneurs, developers, founders, and now we are getting more attention and traction from VCs and investors. I think this week is a game changer in general for Canadians and for people that are involved in the crypto industry.
cool. Well, I know we want to get into what you guys specifically have going on with your accelerator program and your events with the ICP Hub, but just to kick things off for our audience, in case they're not familiar with ICP, maybe you can just give a really brief overview of what ICP is all about and how people can use it today.
Yeah, for sure. ICP, or Internet Computer Protocol, is a layer one. It's a decentralized cloud computing platform. It means you can say it's similar to Amazon Web Services, Google Cloud, or Microsoft Azure, but in a decentralized way. It means you don't need to rely in this centralized and these kind of companies that control huge portion of internet. ICP creates this truly decentralized environment. And then on the other side, the good thing is you can build anything you can imagine on the Internet Computer Protocol fully on chain. It means back end, front end. You can build everything on chain. Plus, also you can directly connect immediately through the HTTP outcalls with websites. It means it's the best way to mix and put together Web 2 and Web 3. Right? This is just like an overview. The major contributor of Internet Computer is the Definity Foundation. They are based in Zurich, in Switzerland, with more than 250 R&D members, cryptographers, engineers, data scientists. And then as well, we have the ICP Hubs network. It's a network that we are covering more or less 40 countries across the globe in different regions, doing different activities, right? It's not the same, for example, if you go to Dubai, that maybe you have to focus more in VCs and investors, or if you go to Kenya, that maybe you have to focus more in awareness and education. And then, of course, ICP, they have also a good governance system. It calls network nervous system. This NNS, or network nervous system, allows the community to direct vote on the network upgrades, protocol changes, and other important decisions. That I think in general is something really, really important in Web3. But the main focus, I will say, for Internet Computer is help builders, developers, enterprises to have another possibility, right? To have another option and not rely to these big tech cloud corporations. that the user, they don't have the control of almost anything.
Well, we're coming to the end of the show. It's been amazing to see your perspective on what's going on in Canada. Tell us more about what is news for ICP Canada Hub and also your accelerator, Quantum Leap Labs.
Yeah, for sure. In ICP Hub Canada and the US, we have, you can say, a funnel that is divided in different parts: awareness, education, acceleration, and launch. And we are covering all of them. Awareness, we are doing a lot of different events and meetups in Vancouver, in Toronto, in Montreal, in Calgary, and also, of course, in United States. Also, like, education for us is like big portion and big part of the hub. We are doing a lot of different courses for developers. In ICP, you can build with TypeScript, with Python, Rust, and we are doing a lot of different hackathons as well in universities across the country. And then the accelerator, as you mentioned, we have Quantum Leap Labs. Quantum Leap Labs is a venture studio that is focusing to help projects and builders to build a project from zero to launch on the internet computer with different services like tokenomics, legal, smart contract design, pitch decks. We also help them to talk and engage with investors. And then we help, of course, to launch the project on ICP. So far, we are incubating 7 different projects, and 2 of them will do the TGE pretty soon in Q2. And yeah, we are super excited. We have our website, quantumleaplabs.ca, if
Nice.
someone wants to participate and join the accelerator.
What are some of the most promising projects coming out of the accelerator soon that you mentioned? You mentioned some are launching. I'm just curious what some of those projects are.
Yeah, we have, for example, VIP Quantum is a project related with intellectual property, and also they are using AI. If you want to ask any kind of complex questions related with intellectual property, this platform solves this problem. We have as well Rhino Spider. Rhino Spider, it's a way that, for example, the idle of network that you have for your internet, you can use this network to share with other neighbors and get some revenues. I think this is a really cool idea. And we have as well Able Finance, for example. They are working in an AI trading tool that if you have, for example, have money but you don't know anything about investments or about trading, they help you through different AI agents to see the best strategies to invest up or down the market. And yeah, this kind of projects, I think it's a game changer for the ecosystem. Yeah, let's see. Of course, the market decide. The market is the smartest here, but we will see.
Yeah, well, exciting stuff, and looking forward to meeting you in Canada and maybe coming to some of your upcoming events. It sounds like you're doing great work building the ecosystem from the ground up over there.
Yeah, thank you so much, guys, for your invite, and yeah, looking forward to see you in Toronto.
So that wraps up today's episode of the Edge of Show. We talked about the Prime Minister election in Canada, the crypto climate over there up north and our neighbors, as well as Canada Crypto Week. And we got insights on ICP with Javi from ICP Hub and some of their upcoming projects that are launching.
Thanks for tuning in to this week's journey through the hottest Web3 topics. We're thrilled to explore these innovations with you and can't wait to bring even more exciting updates and conversations next week. I'm January, here with Josh, signing off. Stay curious, stay innovative, and we'll see you next time.